Hey guys, today I'm at World Maker Faire 2016 in New York City, and I'm here with Stephanie and Deren.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, so why don't you guys tell me a little bit about yourselves?
Sure. My name is Deren, and I am the founder of a company called Technikia, where we create educational tool sets for teaching you how to embed electronics into different materials.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Santoso. Everybody calls me Steph. So I currently work with the Infosys Foundation USA, and they've been doing a lot to support young makers and makers who are working on social impact projects. And then prior to that, I was the first senior advisor for making at the White House in the Office of Science and Tech Policy.
That is pretty darn cool. All right, so what inspired you to do what you do?
So I myself am a maker through and through. So I grew up with my mom teaching me how to sew. And then when I got older, I was really into cooking and baking. And then I learned about 3D printing, 3D modeling and 3D printing, and started tinkering around with e-textiles. And I do all this stuff still today. And so I actually spent a lot of time at a makerspace called Ithaca Generator in upstate New York. And that's kind of where my love for the maker community really blossomed. And when I had the opportunity to work on this at the White House, I couldn't pass up the chance.
I've been to Ithaca, it's pretty cool. So Deren, why don't you tell us a little bit about what inspired you?
Sure. So I had a similar experience to Steph. I also grew up with a lot of encouragement to make things, and both of my parents were engineers, and I ended up studying physics but getting more into hands-on tinkering and combining it with art and design a lot. And when I was in grad school, I was teaching art and design students about how to use electronics in their projects, and I felt like some of the tools were too complicated, and so I started to break things down, and then I realized that actually I could be using this to teach kids how to make their own toys.
Which one person inspired you?
Oh man, that's a really tough question. So I'm gonna cheat a little and say both of my parents because I love them equally. But my dad, because he's a chemical engineer and really taught me at a really early age. He does like systems engineering, and it's really cool because a lot of the projects that I now work on, either like in my spare time, a lot of it is about like designing how systems work and different components come together. It's a very much a maker mindset, right? And then my mom, because she just is like so incredibly creative. She's the one who taught me how to sew. She's the one who like really cultivated my love for cooking and baking. And so I would say both my parents.
I actually agree with that. Both my parents also inspired me.
I might copy and also say both of my parents.
Parents are awesome.
Parents are so glad we have them.
So I have one last question, and that is, what's your favorite hack? Now, a hack that doesn't really have to be like related to what you do, or it can be really anything that you figured out that you want to share with the world.
So actually, before I started Technikio, I did a big project, which was actually my first project that I presented at Maker Faire in 2012. And my best friend from high school and I collaborated on this, and we went to Beijing, and there they use the kite flying. The traditional art of kite flying is really popular, and they like to put lights on them at night, and it looks really beautiful. It's kind of like these stars flying around, and so we hacked into that, and we transformed the simple lights that they were putting to these air quality sensors, where it would read the air quality, and the light would tell you if the air quality was, green for good, red for bad, colors in between.
And so every year the White House, for the holidays, they have lots and lots of really cool and beautiful decorations. So they deck out the White House, the East Wing of the White House, so that people who are coming for tours can actually enjoy the White House, the festivity. And so one of the things that I was asked to do was, along with a couple other colleagues in our spare time on the weekends, was one of the designers for the holiday decorations in 2015 they were creating these statues of the first dogs. So there's Sunny and Bo. And in previous years, Sunny and Bo were just statues. Like, they didn't really move or anything. The year before that, they tried to, somebody else had tried a hack where they took, they wanted to make one of the dog's tails move. So they took the motor from one of those holiday deer decorations and installed it in the statue. But it wasn't the right power. There was a mismatch with the power source, and his tail started to smoke. So it was a little bit dicey. So the next year was the year they asked us if we could like try to figure out a solution. So with some Arduino, some laser cutting of some like parts, lots of servo motors, we managed to like hack a solution. So that year we had like robotic Sunny and Bo. They were called Bobot and Sunnybot. But that was one of my more recent fun hacks that I really liked.